Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Samasthajanakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavitvaram Vasudev Vasutam Devam Kamsachanunamardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. Hari Om. We are seeing the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and we saw yesterday shlokas number 3 and 4. Yetvaksharam nirdeshyam avyaktam parimupasate sarvatragamachintyam cha kutasthamachalam dhruvam sanyam yendriyagramam sarvatra samabuddhayah te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhutahite rataha. So Bhagavan answered the question of Arjuna that indeed laudable is, commendable is the Sakara Bhakta. He answered that in the second shloka. And then is the Saguna Upasak, he is extollable, and Bhagavan says Yuktatama. And now Bhagavan is talking about this Nirguna Upasak. And Nirguna Upasak is the one who ye tu aksharam anirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate, the one who has done the upasana of Akshar Brahman. And what is this Akshar Brahman? We were seeing this yesterday. This Akshar Brahman is avyaktam. The senses cannot go there. Then the next one that we saw is achintyam, manaha agochara. Mind cannot go over there. Then we looked at the buddhi standpoint that it is anirdeshyam. The intellect cannot indicate it as this with even some words, some ideas, some ideologies. This buddhi also cannot go over there. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. It is said in Keno Upanishad that mind goes in search for Bhagavan. It comes back without having grabbed Ishvara, Paramatma, either in the emotion, in the thought, or in the idea. Bhagavan cannot be captured as an objective entity, is what is implied over here, that Indriya Gochara Vastu, Paramatma, Manaha Agochara Vastu, and then Buddhi Agochara Vastu. Then continuing Sarvagatam. That why is it that it cannot be, the Buddhi cannot grab it, the mind cannot grab it, the senses cannot objectify it. Bhagavan cannot be objectifiable because Bhagavan is Sarvagata. He is all pervading. And that omnipresence, omniscience, omnipresence of Bhagavan is the very prowess of Ishvara. The Ishvara Tattva, it is all pervading. And thus, because of that, this Ishwar cannot be grabbed with any one of these senses. He is all pervading. Then Achalam, immovable. Paramatma, movement is only there from where we are to where we are not. But if Bhagavan himself is all pervading Sarvagata Vastu, then where will Bhagavan walk and go? He is everywhere. And if something is present in all places, in all times, where is it not for it to go to? So Bhagavan is Achalam. It is immovable in time and space. There is no gati of Ishvara. The movement in the physical realm is the movement of the object in time and space. But in the subtler world, it is the movement of the emotion and the thought and the feeling. So even in the subtle world, there is no movement because Bhagavan is not a thought. Bhagavan is not an emotion. So there is no movement even at the subtle realm. At the physical manifested realm, Achala. At the physical level, Vyakta, it is immovable. At Avyakta, it is also immovable in terms of ideas and concepts and thoughts. Bhagavan encompasses all thoughts. In fact, the very thought can only be thoughted in front of Bhagavan. When I put this on my hand and I say, what is on my hand? So you can say that this phone is on my hand. But actually, on my hand, there is a phone plus the light which reveals the phone. If the light goes out and I say, what is in my hand? Object being there cannot be seen. So the very objective presence is only known by the subjective light of the very mind and the intellect. Thus, Paramatma over here is Achala at the Vyakta, and he is Achala at the level of Avyakta, at the level of manifested reality. Bhagavan is immovable, and at the level of the unmanifest, in fact, Bhagavan is the absolute unmanifest, which never ever manifests. Because if anything manifests in time and space, it will have a limitation imposed by a temporal limitation of time and a spatial limitation of space. So Paramatma is immovable. Not only that, Kutastha. Bhagavan is anvil-like. Now, a goldsmith or an ironsmith, they have a iron block upon which they put molten iron and they beat it to create various shapes. So the very support of that molten iron on which it is given shape, that itself is motionless. This means that Bhagavan is the very support. It supports everything else, and the one which supports, naturally, the Aadhar of the entire universe has to be motionless. So, Kutastha, it is unchanging. And it is unchanging, and yet it is only that unchanging becomes the witness of all changes. The reference point to measure any change, it necessarily has to be changeless. Only when we are standing on the banks of a river, we can say that the river is moving, the boat is moving, the objects in the river, the log, the little leaf which is fallen, whatnot, all the movement in the river is clearly visible because we happen to be on the banks of the river, and the banks of the river extends itself underneath the river as the very support of the river. So from the standpoint of the very support of the river, none other than the river bed, the river is moving. The river is moving. The waters in the river are continuously moving. But if we are part of the river, and if we are part of that movement, difficult for us to experience the movement because we are part of it. So Paramatma is Kutastha, Kutasthavat. It also means, by saying that it is Kutastha, it is Sakshi, it is a witness. It silently witnesses all that appears in front of it. So in this way, Bhagavan is Kutastha, it is changeless, and necessarily it is eternal, Dhruvam. It is firm, it abides, it ever is, it ever is, it ever is. Dhruvam. So the eternality of Ishvara is maintained over here. In this way, 8 things are enumerated, and the knower of these 8 things, Bhagavan says that this Nirguna Upasak, the one who meditates on this absolute truth, Yetu Aksharam Anirdesham Avyaktam Pariupasate, the one who meditates upon this, what happens to such a person? Te prapnuvanti mameva, they attain me and me alone. That is supplied in the 4th shloka. So the upasana, what happens to such a person? The answer is given in the 3rd quarter of the 4th shloka. Te prapnuvanti mameva. Such a person attains me. So now, in the seat of meditation, when this Nirguna Upasak, the one who is a meditator of nameless, formless truth, the one who is a meditator of this nameless, formless truth, this meditator, when they are meditating, what do they meditate on? It is said over here that it is Aksharam, Anirdeshyam, Avyaktam, Anirdeshyam, all these words we saw. But what does that mean? So, with these eyes, I can see the whole world in front of my eyes, except my own eyes. The camera in which I'm looking at and speaking to, that camera can photograph anything and everything in this world except itself. Very unique. This camera can photograph anything and everything that comes in front of it. And if it is behind, we just have to change the direction. Even behind it, it can capture, except what is right behind the lens. The camera cannot capture that. Except it can objectify everything else, meaning the subject itself, the camera that it is, the camera, the subject, it can objectify everything except itself. In the same way, when we sit down for meditation and the senses, we turn away from, The mind we quieten, the intellect which is resolved and absorbed in all these words, when in silence we rise above the senses, we rise above the mind, and we rise above the intellect, what do we meditate on? We meditate on the subject. And this subject objectifies everything. That is why in Keno Upanishad, it is said, it is the eye of the eye, it is the ear of the ear, it is the nose of the nose, it is the tongue of the tongue, the skin of the skin. What is that? The skin which is capable of knowing by touch. It is the very support of the very sensations that the skin is capable of experiencing. So it is the skin of the skin. It is the eye of the eye. It is the ear of the ear. What Keno Upanishad is indicating is, it is the very subject which is trying to objectify. So the one who meditates, ye upasa pariupasate, when they meditate, who do they meditate upon? Atma. And who is this Atma? This Atma itself is Bhagavan is referring to as Mam Eva Prapnuvanti. So Atma and me, Arjuna, are one. This Brahma Vidya, Aksharam Brahma Paramam, that Akshar Brahman is Atma. That's why the Mahavakya says, Ayam Atma Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. Because now the subject is known. All objects are renounced by all these words. These 8 words, Aksharam, Anirdeshyam, Avyaktam, Sarvatragama, Achintyam, Kutastham, Achalam, Dhruvam, all these words, they are indicating Paramatma, Paramatma, beyond the senses, beyond the mind, beyond the intellect. And such Nirguna Upasaks, Arjuna, they come to me. So Arjuna's question was, Saguna Upasak, Nirguna Upasak, which one is better? Bhagavan says, great is the Saguna Upasak, but Nirguna Upasak, they come to me. This is the answer Bhagavan gives. Beautiful teaching. There is no comparison between Saguna Upasak, Nirguna Upasak. Why? Because in the 5th shloka, Bhagavan will mention why. So, how is he coming to this upasana on this absolute unmanifest? So, Bhagavan says, Sanyamyendriya Gramam. A host of all senses, Indriya Gramam. Gramam we usually refer to village, but it is a village is considered to be a village of homes. So when all homes put together, it becomes a village. So all senses put together, Indriya Gramam. So Sanyamyendriya Gramam, all the senses, a host of all senses, the 5 senses of perception, the 5 senses of action, the 11th sense mind, all of them, samyamya, they are all coming under firm control. This is the only way we can meditate. If we have to rise above the bodily perceptions, the mental perceptions, the intellectual perceptions, we necessarily have to rise above all of them. So, rising above the Sanyamyendriya Gramam, Sarvatra Samabuddhayaha, And this buddhi, manabuddhi complex, what is it? Sarvatra samabuddhi. What is samabuddhi? Samabuddhi is when this mind and intellect, when it looks at this world through the apertures of eyes or ears or nose or skin or touch, when through the five gopurams, when the universe enters within the sanctum sanctorum, around the very self where the senses exist, when they peep out through these five gopurams, they will not criticize the world. That is called sarvatra samabuddhi, meaning they will not look at a critical eye of raga and dvesha. Raga and dvesha, the inner commentary. Oh, look at this person. What do they think they are doing? Oh, look at this person, the clothes they are wearing. Oh, look at this person, tattoos everywhere. Oh, look at this person, piercings everywhere. Oh, look at this person. How dare they come out of the home looking like this? Continuously, our mind gives its 2 cents worth of opinion on this world. When the inner chattering silences, that is sarvatra samabuddhaya. It has to. Otherwise, meditation cannot happen. What will happen is in the seat of meditation, if our raga and dvesha is alive, if they are very much present, we will meditate upon the raga and dvesha. If we hate someone, that person alone is what we will meditate on, and the blood pressure will boil. What we want to forget, what we want to get rid of, that alone will come in our mind in the seat of meditation. So the neutralizing of raga and dvesha is very, very important. The minute we start giving commentary on this world, we have to grab our senses, mind and intellect, and just stop them right over there. The tattoo and the piercing and all that, I'm talking about actually myself. When I look at all these people, I'm like, what are they doing? And then I have to catch myself. I'm like, why are you talking? It is his body, let them do. And then even then my intellect, it is his body, but doesn't he realize that body is such a divine instrument Bhagavan has given? Again, I have to slap myself. Why do you have to tell? So this is continuously something we have to work on ourselves. Every committee, there will be a problem. Poor Guruji and our Mukhya Swamiji, they only, the emails they have to write is only, this person said this person said this, Swamiji, continuously kitch pitch going on. And from the meeting, we bring that kitch pitch home. In the puja, there will be kitch pitch. In the meditation, there will be kitch pitch. Continuously, we are puppets. The strings of raga and dvesha are just, playing onto us. So, to be a nirguna upasak over here, sarvatra samabuddhayaha, sarva bhuta hite rataha. They are the well-wishers of everyone. Silently. How are the well-wishers? Do they go and help out everywhere? This COVID is happening, let me go and do some volunteer work and all. No, nothing like that. Silently. If nothing can be done, best a prayer. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha. 4-5 mantras are done with absolute adherence to the self. Oh Lord, this person is going through difficulty. Help them out. Anyone, any living being, a bird caught up somewhere, cannot climb the tree. Oh Lord, help out. He's a friend, he or she is a friend of all beings on this planet. In fact, even the stones. Ramana Maharshi ji, when he would use toilet, in those days, after cleaning up with water, pouring water into that toilet, and he would have so much feeling, our Indian old style toilet, squatting toilet, and there will be two stones on which we squat. Ramana Maharshi ji would take water, sprinkle it on the stones, and wash it with his hands. That these stones have supported me in performing my biological function. It is their prarabdha to become a patthar and to see what I am doing. Let me turn around and acknowledge a dead stone. Imagine. This is a Nirguna Upasak. We cannot even leave two slippers properly outside our own home, much less having the idea of taking care of the two stones in the toilet. Such is a life of awareness. Sarvabhuta hite rataha. Not intermingling with the laws of the universe. In fact, admiring the universe. This is Sarvabhuta hite rataha. And what happens to this Nirguna Upasak? Te prapnuvanti mameva. They come to me and me alone. Further, Bhagavan Krishna continues, Klesho dikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavit biravapyate. Now, Bhagavan is saying, Yadi, in case, avyakta asakta chetasam tarhi tesham adhikataraha kleshaha. And why is it like that? Kim. So then Bhagavan answers over here and says, Deha vidbiravapyate avyaktat gati dukkham. So I read it in prose order. So in case, over here, avyakta asakta chetasam, in case, chetasam, the mind of the mind, avyakta asakta chetasam, this mind which is set on realizing this Nirguna Brahman, avyakta, unmanifest, avyakta asakta chetasam, in case this mind is determined to tread and walk the path in realizing the unmanifest Brahman. So Bhagavan says, Tesham adhikataraha kleshaha, for those people who have greater trouble in realizing this, nirguna this nameless, formless, qualityless truth, Atma, for those people who have a desire to realize Atma but are having difficulty realizing Atma, then what is the reason? For those people, the reason is Dehavit. For those people, Dehavadbihi, the embodied ones, it is Avyaktagati Dukkham. It is difficult. Bhagavan is saying the embodied people, the embodied souls, all of us, for the embodied soul, it is not that easy to realize the Nirguna truth. Because the embodied soul has too much attachment. It has too much attachment at the physical level, at the mental level, and at the intellectual level. The equipment itself creates the obstacle for realizing the truth. Just today itself, I was speaking to someone and they are saying, Swamiji, it is easy to develop vairagya for so many things. But why is it I am not developing vairagya from my kids? And it is true. A mother's nature, Prakriti has programmed the female species, most female species, to be the one who is the on-taker, caregiver of the future generations. And if they are the ones who are caregivers and they have to raise that little child, that baby, that little pup, calf, whatever it is, without a sense of attachment, how can Prakriti progress? We can develop Vairagya from the next door neighbor. Very easy. You just put a fence over there. Done. Robert Frost had even written, good fences make good neighbors. Oh, very easy. Not much to be done with the neighbor. Just put up a fence over. But even if the child is not listening, but if it is one's own child, a Prakriti is made in such a way, mind gravitates towards it. Very difficult. So, greater is the trouble whose minds are set on the unmanifest. If the mind is set on this unmanifest, it is tesham adhikaratah kleshaha. Bhagavan says greater trouble. Why? For the goal, the unmanifest is very hard to be attained by an embodied soul because of the physical attachments, mental attachments, emotional attachments, and the intellectual attachments. Very difficult. This path is not that easy. To come to this Nirguna Upasana and to have this Vivek, Vairagya, Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhan, and Mumukshutvam. Sadhan Chatushtaya Sampanna Adhikari, fourfold qualifications just the Vivek Buddhi. That itself takes years in our life to develop what is right, what is wrong, an inner sense of moral compass, and to stretch it further onto the planes of Vairagya. Very difficult. Continuously, we have to invoke the awareness principle in living to create a healthy mental distance between one's own spouse, one's own child, and not out of being fed up or something like that. I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about a true mumukshu, a spiritual aspirant. They have a desire to spiritually evolve. For such people, it is difficult. It's not easy to live in the same home and yet to develop loving vairagya. Smashan vairagya, every so often when the fights break out, it happens. We are not talking about smashan vairagya for 1 day or 2 days. You sleep over there, I'll sleep over here. But something which fuels our enthusiasm of spirituality and keeps us steadfast to go day in, day out on our spiritual practice and to invoke that vairagya in living. It is Bhagavan himself is saying, kleshaha adhikataraha. It is difficult, great difficulties. So Bhagavan realizes. So if something is difficult, so what, does that mean that Bhagavan wants us to give up? No. If something is difficult to attain, that means we just have to acquire qualifications to attain it. If a high school student just looks at it, oh my God, it is so difficult to get into all these colleges and all that. So, Swamiji, this day and age, there's so much competition. Arey, of course there's competition, but you work hard and you try to get in. Prepare yourself. And how much one has to prepare for college? Then in college, good grades. And after that, MCAT. And after that, getting into college, getting into good medical school with interviews and doing well and retaining composure during interview and not getting nervous and all those things. Now getting into school. Now even after getting into school, there is a maintenance issue is everywhere. Even after getting into medical school, it's not easy. There's step one. Okay, 2 years over, step one clear. Then after 2 more years, 4th year, step two. After that, apply for residency. It continues. Does that mean we just throw away the whole thing? No. We just have to do what is required. We have to keep ourselves prepared. Bhagavan has said Nirguna Upasana is very difficult. And it is difficult because dehavadbihi avapyate. For the ones who want to reach, who are embodied, it is difficult. So the key word he has used is embodied. To reach over there, we have to be alive, embodied. And it is for that person who it is difficult. So now we have to develop vivek, vairagya, 6-fold qualifications. All these things, avyakta hi gati. For that, it is difficult. So now Bhagavan is giving upai. What upai is he giving? So now Bhagavan is giving, you prepare. What are the preparations? Shloka number 6 and 7. Ye tu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matparaha ananye naiva yogena Mam dhyayanta upasate tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha mayyaveshita chetasam. So Upai Bhagavan is giving in shlokas 6, 7 and 8. I had mentioned in my first day introduction, bhakti, 5 levels. So Bhagavan said the 5th is the Nirguna Upasak. He is Nirguna Upasak meaning Jnani. And how does one come to that Jnanam? And what is that Jnanam? Jnanam is Atma Jnan. And how did they do that? Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasan. They heard about what is Atma. Then they reflected upon that Atma. And then Nididhyasan, they performed deep meditation and they arrived at Aham Brahmasmi. So through this Jnana sadhana of Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasan. And that Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasan, Bhagavan talked about it that for those people, they sanniyamya indriya gramam. They had to have firm control of the senses. Shravanam, to even sit down for 1 hour in front of a guru, all senses, no distraction. Otherwise, in India, I remember I was sitting hot weather, cold weather, this, that, and the lizards are roaming around. And many times I saw the lizard right in top of Swamiji. I'm like, oh my God, I hope it doesn't fall on Swamiji. Swamiji is busy talking about Upanishad, and our attention is on that lizard. And Swamiji says, I know where you're looking at. Listen to what I'm saying and leave the lizard rub there on the ceiling. It's not going to fall. Bhagavan has given good hands. So these are the distractions. If the senses are all distracted, the dog in India, dog will bark, or some rickshaw will go pa pa poo poo, but our attention, no, Upanishad is going on. And our Annakshetra is right next door to it. Some smell will come because they are preparing vegetables for lunch. And in the middle of this class, oh, I wonder what they are making. Kundru ki sabji ban rahi hai abhi. So gone then. No attention will be there. So for Jnana sadhana, Indriya has to be there. Raga and Dveshas have to be dissolved. So that's why Bhagavan, all these are preparations for Jnana sadhana. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasan, for that minimum, senses under control, mind under control, intellect sharp, listening, continuous Shravanam, and then reflection. What is Atma? What is Anatma? All this deliberation. So now Bhagavan is saying, if that is difficult, now Bhagavan is saying, then go to step number 4. What was step number 4? Saguna Upasana. Remember the first? Sakama Karma, Nishkama Karma, Eka Ishvara Dhyan, Aneka Ishvara Dhyan. So the 4th one, Bhagavan is saying, Ye tu sarvani karmani Mai sanyasya matparaha. All your actions, looking at this whole world around, sarvani, karmani, in all that we come across in this pluralistic world, all actions that we do, like I was saying, we have to be uplifted. Mai, in me, think of everything as me. The Ashtadha Prakriti of Jagata Ishadi, Yukta Sevanam, Ashtamurti Brut, Deva Pujanam. Ramana Maharshi ji also said the same thing. Bhumirapo Nalo Vayu Khammano Buddhirevacha. So same idea, the whole Jagat, Sarvani Karmani Asmin Jagate, in this world, all actions that we do, Mai Sanyasya, you renounce it in me. Are, this is for Bhagavan, this is for Bhagavan, this is for Bhagavan. Whoever has arrived for Bhagavan. Mat Paraha. Mat Eva Paramam. Renouncing it all in me, regarding me as Param. I am the supreme. I am the supreme goal. I am the supreme being. Remembering that Ananyena yogena. Ananyena yogena, and not deviating away from the idea that this whole world is Bhagavan. Earlier in 9th chapter, he had said, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate. So continuous upasana, paryupasana. What? Ananya chintanam. Thinking everything is Bhagavan. Ananyena yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. Let the saguna upasak, let the worshipper of the Bhagavan worship Bhagavan, thinking that this whole world is Bhagavan. For that Nirguna Upasak to come over there, that Vairagya, very difficult. But these practices will prepare us. It is the preparation which is important, and the preparation is of the equipment of mind and intellect. So, ananyena yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. Tesham aham samuddhartaha mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha mai aveshita chetasam. So, for these upasaks, mai aveshita chetasam, those people who have brought their mind continuously to me in all their transactions that they are engaging in this world, tesham, to those people, for them, aham, I become samuddharta, I become a savior to pull them out of this mrityu samsara sagara, this vast ocean of death and calamity. Continuous birth and death going on in this bhavami. For those people, Bhagavan says, in no time, nachirat partha, in no time I will come and rescue them and save them. So this chapter of Bhakti Yoga, over here, Bhagavan is leading us that in case if we are deficient in qualifying ourselves for Nirguna Upasana as indicated in the Upanishads, then may we go to the previous step and prepare ourselves to develop that Vivek and Vairagya. Vivek and Vairagya. It's very, like I was giving that example of that lady who said, difficult to develop Vairagya for children, and it is true. And then the kids are already older, gone to college, and they are taking care of them. But you know, Swamiji, I have just this one tiny desire. And the tiny desire is they should find right people in their life. Indian person will be great. Now you meditate on getting a daughter-in-law who's Indian. This is how we've done their job, we've educated them 18 years, we've given them the best. They have also come with the bhagya. It will derail us from all our upasanas. This is how Dehavad Bihi, Bhagavan says, the one who is an embodied soul, too many tentacles are hanging around. Upanishad makes sense, I understand it, but cannot progress. So we have to go back and do upasana. More and more spiritual practice, more and more spiritual practice. There is a fear of darkness, fear of death, fear of uncertainty, fear, all different types of fears. We have to work on ourselves. Over here, Mam dhyayanta upasate, those who meditating upon me, Bhagavan himself says, Tesham aham samudharta. I will come. He's giving guarantee, and we have fear. Cannot meditate. I don't know what is going to happen. अरे जो होने वाला है वो होगा ही, और क्या? What is going to happen is going to happen. We cannot live our life in worries. Worries, anxieties. The political situation will be at unrest. The financial situation will be at rest. Our securities. The relationship has to be secure. A job has to be secure. 401k has to be secure. IRA has to be secure. How many securities we will seek? That's why ye tu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya, come to renounce all worries, all anxieties, mat paraha, in the Supreme Bhagavan. Only then Vairagya comes. Not even one attachment there has to be. That is what Bhagavan is come to practice, that Vairagya. Drop everything in me, drop everything in me, drop everything in me. That is the fourth type of upasana as Jagata Ishadhi. Dhihi in Buddhi, Jagata Isha. The world is Ishwar. Who are you running from? Where are you running to? What security are you searching? So, this is a self-transformation. Bhagavan is saying, transform yourself to qualify yourself for Nirguna Upasana. There's no other way. Tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha mai aveshita chetasam. I will only come to rescue you from this world of death, provided you learn to give your mind to me and me alone. Mai asakta chetasam. Only for such a person I will come. Fear of flying, fear of elevator, fear of driving, fear of, it goes on and on and on. Fear of diseases. And even diseases happen again, another fear, it will happen again. Arey, if it's destined to happen, it is going to happen. When Ramana Maharshi Ji's Amma came to Tiruvannamalai to take him back home to Madurai, he said, Amma, what are you fighting? Why are you fighting? If it is not in my destiny to come over there, gods cannot create a bhagya for you to take me. And if it is not in my bhagya to be over here, even gods cannot create bhagya for me to sit over here and meditate. Best you accept the terms in which the Ishvara has created this universe. You're destined to see this sun of yours sit on this mountaintop. I have no worries. You may have worries to get some education, to get some college degree. Arunachala is my college degree. Arunachala is my bank account. Arunachala is my everything. He's my spouse. He's my children. I have found everything in Arunachala. Over. What can that Amma do? He didn't have to take any orange clothes. It's an exalted Vairagya. Exalted Vairagya because Mayaveshita Chetasam bas. This is where Meera even drinks that poison. Mere to Giridhara Gopal, dusaro na koi. You want to give me poison? Or give me poison. There is no second, there is only Gopal. Which Gopal is going to kill me? Even you, Rana, are nothing but a form of Gopal. Give me whatever you want to give me. She's this type of investing absolute renunciation of one's well-being in the hands of Paramatma can only come from Dhrad Upasana, can produce such a Vairagya. Nothing else. The saints are testimony to this. Their lives are an inspiration for us to do whatever little we can to remain at the feet of Bhagavan. That is Bhagavan saying, Bhavami Achirat. In no time, I will take the form over there to rescue these people from Mrityu Samsara Sagara. This deep, and how is that deep love for Bhagavan? Mayyeva mana adatsva, mai buddhim niveshaya, nivasishyasi mayyeva ata urdvam na samshayaha. So, mayyeva mana adatsva, offering your mind to me. Mind is what? It seeks emotional securities. The only security is Bhagavan, bas. Emotional security, all securities. It is what the mind seeks for. Mai buddhim niveshaya. And the buddhi wants to analyze everything. Let the buddhi analyze Paramatma alone. Mai buddhim niveshaya. Take the intellect to me. Arey, when we say that any object is there, and for any object to arrive, there has to be a cause. So the cause produces the effect. And without the cause, no effect can be produced. And you remove the cause, will that effect ever be there? No, without the cause, the effect cannot come. So, cause hunting is the preoccupation of the intellect, Gurudev used to say. So, if the universe has arrived and it is looking for a cause, what created? And we look at Big Bang and this and that and physics also. How much answer can physics give? But when we realize that if something arrives and if something is supporting it, and if something is such a vast as this universe, how much vast has to be the cause to accommodate the effect, which is such a huge effect. 2,700,000 light years is the span of the 4 arms of Milky Way which are spinning. And like that, there are Ananta Koti, Brahmand. That's why the word Bruhatvat Brahman, the big. Because it has to encompass such a huge effect. To comprehend that the stars we are seeing at night, we are seeing a light which was released some 2,700,000 light years ago. And what we are seeing right now, in actuality, that star is not even in existence, because by the time the light has arrived, it has gone. And he's the upholder of this Bhumi Rapo Nalo Vayu Khammano Buddhi Revacha. That is Mai Buddhim Niveshaya. Oh Buddhi, look for the cause. Which cause are you looking at? Maya na bhamra tu kya bhamyo? Bhamyo divas ne raat. Where are you going to go? Nivasishyasi mayeva. You live in me. Come to dwell in me because you are already dwelling in me. Where are you living? Apart from me? No. Ataha urdhvam na samshayaha. There is no doubt. Once we have resolved, bas ye Paramatma का ही जगत कारण है. This bhakti to do the mana alinganam of Paramatma with mana and buddhi is the highest upasana we can do, which alone can qualify to peep through the Prakruti and see the Purusha beyond. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Hari Om.
Namaskar.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Swamiji.
Pranam.
Hari Om.
Thank you. Hari Om, Swamiji.
Thank you.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Namaste. Namaste.
Makara Sankranti greetings to everyone as the Surya Bhagavan enters the Makara Rashi. Makara Rashi is the Rashi of Karma, and Surya Bhagavan is the insignia of nothing other than Dharma. He is the Parama Dharma which keeps the entire Shrushti alive, and Yatha Surya Eka Jagatasya Chakshu. He is the witness. May we all do the highest karma of bhakti. Hari Om.
Hari
Hari Om.
Om. Thank you so much.